the only way someone could even possibly explain to me how this is even moderately acceptable is if they were like, dude, we had to put something out for PR, like, this is what we went with. Fine. If that's the answer, if that's what this is, like, you know, we had to put something out for PR, whatever, I would say, okay, fine. Then I would go to John and I'd be like, you need to fire your fucking PR agents, okay? It's plain and simple. If they thought this was good PR, okay, whoever's running your PR, if they thought this was going to reflect well on you, you need to fire them, and you need to actually let me interview the next group. Okay, I'm not running your PR, but you should let me interview the next group, because we can go through this incident right here to just find out and be like, so that would be my interview question. Tell me what's wrong with this post right here. Okay, hey, new PR person, explain to me what is problematic about this post after John Jones' arrest. And if they were like, well, you know, I just think that maybe he could have waited a little longer. Be like, no. Okay. This incident, he needs to own it, dude. Okay. He needs to own it, A. And B, no apology to his, like, no acknowledgement of, like, anyone else involved. Like, acknowledgement that you have a family. Like, it's just time for me to get back on the horse. My brain, too much trauma. I really can't drink alcohol anymore. Dude, you beat up your kid's mom in front of your kids, okay? Like, I can accept that, yeah, you have some brain trauma and you really shouldn't drink alcohol. I would say you really should have gotten here a lot earlier. But turn this nightmare into the best thing that ever happened in my life? Dude, Guy, I think that we're like that, right? I mean, if you really think that still applies for you, all right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Now we are going to talk about this John Jones situation again. I just kind of alluded to it in my other video. I don't know if you guys have seen that one yet. I just talked about the Aljamain Sterling secret and mentioned this particular video that was on the way. But I'm going to talk about this response that John Jones just put up because I got to be honest with you, this actually bothers me more than the incident. Now, I actually got some information between the video I did yesterday about the details of the arrest and seeing this, which will be very clear why it kind of reshapes my viewpoint of this stuff. Very obvious when I explain it. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be as cautious as I can in this video because I don't want to just... Anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Tell your friends about this channel, okay? I can't just expect other, UFC fighters to just pump me all the time like Bisping or Chandler. I mean, geez, you guys got to help me out as well. But get on the train because it's going that direction. Anyway, so I appreciate the support. Let's get into this thing. So, follow me on Instagram too, please. Like, just, I don't know how to build on Instagram, but that would be awesome if I did. So help me out. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about this John Jones thing. So like we talked about yesterday, right? Like the details of this arrest were gnarly. And I think if you've seen my video yesterday, then this will be more meaningful. But I will just recap that in my video yesterday, I was very, very not soft on John, just empathetic in general, right? Where like I could put myself in his position and kind of go, I remember what it's like to get that angry at someone you're in a romantic relationship with. I mean, I wouldn't ever, hit a woman or make her bleed. Not that that's what he did, whatever, but I understand, blah, 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 blah. I'm more concerned about John than anything else. I talked to some other, some other kind of big industry people about this. And I said, I was like, listen, man, like, does the UFC ever like really intervene and provide help to people? Because this is the first time. This sounds like a person who needs help, and like this is I'm scared for him. That was my take yesterday, right? Today, when he put this this image out with these particular statements on it, which I'll read to you, I mean all at once I saw it and just went, oh wow, man. Like any empathy I had just went whoop, like whoop, bye. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to create some kind of thing where John Jones sees this video and then I run into him later. I'm like some guy that he hates. But this is like some real talk that a father needs to hear. And I'll tell you why I'm an authority on explaining this to him and anyone else, okay? I have 3 daughters. I found out John has 3 daughters, okay? So in between the video I did yesterday and today, I found out that John's kids are girls. So he has 3 daughters, just like me. And that means that when they said that one of her kids said, call the cops, it means it was one of the daughters. Like one of the daughters witnessed what happened and she said, call the cops to the security, right? So just to recap, if you don't remember, his fiance went downstairs, was asking for a new room key, and John had already stormed out, whatever. She's locked out of the room. She's with one of her kids. She's asking for a room key. She's bloody. There's blood on her shirt, her face. And one of the kids goes, call the fucking cops. So that was a girl. It's a daughter, right? And that reframes things for me. Because again, for whatever reason, I just was imagining, I don't know why I was imagining, like when I hear call the cops, I think her son for whatever reason. And for those of you who think the 2 genders are the same, they're not. I mean, this whole incident would be problematic for different reasons, you know, depending on boys or girls. That's the first time I think I've ever used the word problematic, except to say that I hate the word problematic. But I mean, just think about it like this, okay? Some parenting for everybody to kind of wrap their brain around. Kids are sponges, okay? That is just true. A kid watching their parents interact is unconsciously downloading that this is the way that people interact with each other. Like if I have a kid with a guy or if I have a kid with a girl, this is what it's supposed to be like. You only have one example, okay? You grow up, this is your example, okay? I had 2 parents, not divorced. They were together. I mean, they got divorced when I was in my 20s, but my whole childhood, they were together. My dad worked, my wife did, or his wife, my mom didn't. That was ingrained in my mind that like I would never ask my wife to work. My parents never fought, right? And I never fight with Gabrielle. Now, I don't know if those 2 things are necessarily connected, but I'm just giving it. And then you look at people who end up in like abusive relationships, you ask them about their childhood, very, very, very consistently, they're mimicking things that they saw when they were growing up, right? So like, I used to be like a camp counselor at YMCA, right? And there was this kid that used to fucking just punch all these other kids. And I was 19 years old, but I think about this story all the time because, not a story, I remember this, right? But this kid used to just beat other kids. And he was little, he's like 9 years old, and he would hit other kids all the time. And I was like, and I remember just being like, this is the worst fucking kid ever. Like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? Because I always want to defend against defend people against bullies. And I would always grab him by the arm and I go put him in the corner. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? Like, seriously. Like, there's no one else around. I'm seriously telling you, like, you can't just punch a kid in the face because you don't like they squirted you with a fucking water gun in the middle of a water fight. Like, grow up. Jesus. I mean, what the fuck's wrong with you? Then, halfway through the season, another counselor saw the kid's dad punch him. Like when he picked him up, he got mad and he backhanded him or something. Like he hit the kid. And I was like, oh, fuck. That was the first time, because I was a kid. I was 19. That was the first time where I really put that together where it was like, man. And I've always struggled with that. Where is the line where a person's behavior, you can blame it on the last group? Because like a person who's hitting their wife as an adult, they probably saw it when they were a kid. So where's the dividing line where all of a sudden you stop looking at it as the fault of the parents and it now becomes the fault of the person? I mean, there is a dividing line there for sure, where you just need to know, like, that's just not okay, man, obviously. But me as a father of 3 daughters and finding out that they were all daughters there and then this incident happening and the daughters being like, go call the fucking cops. I was like, okay. So my worst fear on earth would be like me not being around. I know this would never happen while I was alive, but like if something happened to me and then my daughters grew up and they ended up in a relationship with a dude, like they end up married to a dude who like abuses them or something, like, and I can't protect them. Like that's literally my fucking worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare. And that's one of the main reasons I have Giselle in jiu-jitsu. It's like, go ahead and hit her, see what happens. She's 9 now. She'll be a black belt by the time she's 20. So hit her and see what happens, dude. Find out the fucking hard way. But like, when I think of this incident with John, I think to myself, like, those girls, regardless, like, even if that's just a one-time incident, that makes it that much more likely that those girls will end up in a relationship like that with their significant other. And here, let me say this too. So one of the things that I kind of read between the lines from the story also, it was that they've been together for 17 years, John and his spouse, right? Or his fiance. What is he, 35? Well, that means they've been together their whole lives, right? Like since they were kids. And in a lot of cases, when people have been together for that long, like they've been together since they were that young, it's not like some healthy romantic relationship. They're literally trapped together. They actually don't know how to not be together because they've been together their entire adult lives. And so in a lot of cases, there are couples like that actually hate each other, right? Like, or at the very least, they resent each other to a point where they really genuinely do not love each other. Like they're just together because they do not know how to not be together. And then like if they separate at all, it feels so foreign to them, feels so uncomfortable that they'll get back together. And not because they want to be with that person, just because that thing has always been there. And so when you take it away, there's like a hole in your chest that the only thing that can fill it is that person. And it is like, I know multiple people who stayed together with either their high school girl or their very early college girl, and they got married. And you can just look and you're like, man, they were screaming at each other through college. How the fuck are they still together? And you just look at them, or at least I can look at them and go, like anybody can look at a happy couple and know. Like there's no one who's going to be in a room with me and my wife for more than 3 minutes and go, yeah, I doubt that they really like each other very much. You can just tell. And you can also tell when there's that blankness between them. And like, the point I'm making is I understand it could be incredibly difficult in that relationship, like very difficult between the two of them. But nonetheless, if you made your kid's mother bleed in any capacity, whether she ran at you and you just kind of bumped into her and her face hit the wall, right? Maybe you didn't hit her, but something happened where she violently was made to bleed in front of your daughters and you caused it, right? You caused that. And enough to where the kids suggested that the police are called. Like, dude, you need to own that. Like, you need to fucking own that. Like, that is a huge deal. We're not just talking about we're not just talking about we got arrested, Like, think about the kids, man. Like, that is a thing that could impact them forever, okay? And I'm not saying it like I'm not trying to throw rocks at them for the incident, okay? I get people make mistakes. But this post that he did, when I saw this, I was like, wow, dude. He posted this picture and it says, I have way too much trauma to consume alcohol. My brain simply can't handle it anymore. I will leave alcohol in my past forever. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do a good job of explaining this really. But that's a total deflection. Like that is the opposite of taking responsibility. Like that's just a fucking stone deflection. That is like, I have way too much trauma to consume alcohol. My brain simply cannot handle it anymore. I will leave alcohol in my past forever. That right there, you didn't blame yourself. You accepted no responsibility. You blamed alcohol and trauma and your brain. You said your brain as if it's like a different thing than you and your own decisions. Like your fucking daughters saw you hurt their mom and then had them call the cops. You can't own that and then turn this nightmare into the best thing that ever happened in my life. Okay, I've fucking heard that before, dude. Like I've heard this before many times from you. And I'm not trying to be a dick here, dude. This is honestly meant to be like, if he was one of my good buddies, I would be like, I'm serious. Like this, I would fucking go to my buddy's house and I'd be like, listen, man, you gotta fucking think about this, dude. Like, think like a person who cares about other people. Think like a person who cares about their own kids. Think about it for a second. Don't give me a fucking fortune cookie about this incident. This is a way bigger deal than that. If you don't recognize it, you're hopeless. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you can't see if this doesn't get through to you, you are beyond hope, okay? He said, now is the time to work even harder than ever. What the devil means for bad, God means for good. Get right back on my horse. Okay? So the only way someone could even possibly explain to me how this is even moderately acceptable is if they were like, dude, we had to put something out for PR, like, this is what we went with. Fine. If that's the answer, if that's what this is, like, you know, we had to put something out for PR, whatever, I would say, okay, fine. Then I would go to John and I'd be like, you need to fire your fucking PR agents, okay? Plain and simple. If they thought this was good PR, okay, whoever's running your PR, if they thought this was going to reflect well on you, you need to fire them, and you need to actually let me interview the next group. Okay, I'm not running your PR, but you should let me interview the next group, because we can go through this incident right here to just find out and be like, so that would be my interview question. Tell me what's wrong with this post right here. Okay, hey, a new PR person, explain to me what is problematic about this post after John Jones' arrest. And if they were like, well, you know, I just think that maybe he could have waited a little longer. I'd be like, no. Okay. This incident, he needs to own it, dude. Okay. He needs to own it, A. And B, no apology to his, like, no acknowledgement of, like, anyone else involved. Like acknowledgement that you have a family. Like, it's just time for me to get back on the horse. My brain, too much trauma. I really can't drink alcohol anymore. Dude, you beat up your kid's mom in front of your kids, okay? Like, I can accept that, yeah, you have some brain trauma and you really shouldn't drink alcohol. I would say you really should have gotten here a lot earlier. But turn this nightmare into the best thing that ever happened in my life? Dude, Guy, I think that we're like that, right? I mean, if you really think that still applies for you, like, oh, this mistake will be the best thing ever. Oh, no, so hitting a pregnant woman and fleeing the scene, almost killing a pregnant woman, then fleeing, that didn't do it, right? That didn't do it. Then, you know, all these other things compounding, that didn't do it. It's like, when DC was talking about Johnny, he's like, he's rotten to his core, blah, blah. I was like, man, I don't know if he's talking shit about the, you know, just for the fight, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that people can be rotten to their core. What I do believe is stardom breaks people's brains. Money and stardom breaks people's brains if they get it too young. Like, if you get, like, I know this about myself. If I would have gotten famous and rich in my early to mid, in my 20s period, I would have gotten stunted in my emotional growth at a phase where this version of myself, like an adult version of myself, would have looked at who I would have become and been like, look at this self-centered, narcissistic little fuck. Like, in this person's mind, like in my mind, the other version of me, I would think I own the world. And to a person like me with some wisdom, who's taken the losses in my life and been forced to actually examine who I am and what kinds of things make a person a good person, I would look and be like, well, I guess ignorance is bliss. You can think you're the shit. You're a fucking piece of garbage. Like, you're a self-centered shitbox. Okay? And it's like, you know, why don't you spoil kids, right? Like, why do you make kids work for things when they're young? You don't just buy them every single thing they want. Oh, I want an iPhone 13. I want to buy. Why don't you just buy? If you can afford them, I could fucking afford to buy my kid a new iPad, new iPhone 13, fucking all the bullshit she asked me for. And I don't do it. I make her sell golf balls in the backyard. Why? Because you can spoil a kid where they expect things for the rest of their life. They don't think they need to work for anything. They don't have to earn anything. And if you think that you can't spoil an adult who's technically an adult, but they're not actually a fucking adult, then you're wrong. Okay, what's going to be a bigger thing to spoil a person than to make something that they enjoy doing, that they're incredibly blessed at, make them into a super famous, rich superstar. Okay? They face no adversity in their life. Everywhere they go, everyone, oh my God, oh man, can you hang out with me, please? And not only do you get everything you want, people will constantly tell you you're doing awesome even when you're fucking up. And you just get your emotional growth stunted. Plain and simple. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not bullish on his future, dude. I'm just being serious. Like, I wasn't sure how I was going to go into this video, and I actually, in case you can't tell, the first half of this video, I was still trying to kind of scale it back. I might even re-record it and do it like this, because fuck that. It's like, listen, dude. If right now you can still do this, right? Like right now you can still do this. And I'm not talking like this is fucking, it's a glimpse into the psyche, right? But I'm saying in your own mind, you can still lie to yourself like this, right? Like you can still do it. And you want to know why? Because you're 34, 35 and you know you still have multiple years to fight, right? So you can still lie to yourself. You can go, I'm going to turn this into the best thing that's ever happened. That, now no more booze. It's going to be all business. I'm going to go to class tonight. I'm going to go to class tomorrow. I'm going to do. Okay. What are you going to do in a year? Like, or what are you going to, how about 6 weeks from now when this has died down? You still going to go to practice every night? You still going to, I know right now you're overwhelmed. Oh, I'm changing my life. How about in 6 weeks? How about in 8 weeks? How about in fucking 40 weeks? Okay. But the only reason that you can even do that game to yourself and lie to yourself is because you're still an active athlete. Okay. Want to know what's going to happen in 4 years? Okay. You got, in 4 years when you don't have this, you're not an athlete anymore. Like you have money, hopefully, and that's it. You're a retired athlete, okay? When this shit happens, you want to know what you get to tell yourself? Nothing, okay? You can't lie to yourself. You're gonna get hit in the face with who you really are because you can't lie to yourself, and that's why a lot of former fighters will go park their fucking car on the train tracks, okay? Because when the music stops, no more lying to yourself. You're just faced with who you actually are. So that's why this post bothers me. All right? Like, I'm not saying it to be judgmental. I'm saying it like you need to recognize the reality of what happened, and you need to you need to take some responsibility, and you need to. Anyway, I'm taking this personally because I have daughters. And I can actually think if this was me, this would fucking rock my system in a way that I don't know. He needs to go do some psychedelics, man. Anyway, that's what I got.